So think about the last patient who came in for a first visit. They showed up, the visit went well, and they left feeling good about your practice. And then what happened next? Did they hear from you the next day, the next morning, 3 days later? Or did your practice go completely silent and hope that maybe they'd book a follow-up all on their own? Here's what the data tells us. Most new patients who don't return after a first visit don't leave because of a bad experience. They leave because nobody followed up. Nobody reached out. Nobody gave them a reason or a next step. But the good news? This is one of the most fixable problems in private practice. And it starts with just 3 emails. Now, most practices treat the first visit as the finish line. The patient books, they come in, they get great care, and then the relationship essentially pauses until the patient decides to book again, which unfortunately many of them never do. What's happening in the days after the first visit is critically important. The patient is processing the experience. They're deciding whether they trust you, whether they understood the care plan, whether coming back is worth prioritizing. And during that window, that 7-day stretch right after the visit, most practices are completely absent. No email, no check-in, no acknowledgement that the patient exists outside of the appointment itself. The silence doesn't feel neutral to the patient. It feels like indifference. And indifference is the fastest way to lose a patient relationship that you spent some real time and real money to earn. I worked with a pediatric practice owner, a physician who'd been in practice for 14 years, genuinely loved by her patients and families. Her Google reviews were glowing, her clinical reputation in the community was excellent, but her new patient retention, the percentage of new patients who came back for a second visit within 90 days, was sitting at only 41%. She was spending roughly $80 in paid advertising for every new patient who booked, and she was losing more than half of them after just one visit. When we looked at her post-visit communication, it was exactly what you might expect. Nothing automated, nothing consistent. An occasional reminder call from her front desk, a recall postcard mailed out at least 6 months. Well, after building a 3-mail welcome sequence inside of her account, it took one afternoon to just write it up and set it up. From that point forward, every single new patient received the same 3 emails automatically, without anyone on her team having to lift a finger. Within 1 quarter, her 90-day new patient retention rate jumped from 41% to 68%. The $80 that she was spending to acquire each new patient was now producing a long-term patient instead of a one-time visit. Same practice, same physician, same clinical experience, but the 3 emails changed the math entirely. Here's exactly how the breakdown happens. A patient comes in for their first visit, and that's the starting point. Then they look at what happens next. Day 1, no follow-up email. Day 3, no check-in. Day 5, no next step communicated. By day 7, the patient is disengaged. This entire stretch, from the day after the visit through day 7, is what I would call the silence zone. Research consistently shows that the majority of new patients that drop off happen right here. Not because of anything that went wrong at the visit, but because of the silence that followed it. Without a welcome sequence, the patient feels forgotten. There's no reason to return, and sometimes they go and book with somebody else. With a welcome sequence, the patient feels genuinely cared for. The next step is clear. The relationship can deepen naturally. The visit earns the patient. The follow-up is what keeps them. So let's take a look at the 3 emails. Each one has a specific job a specific send time, and a specific outcome that it's designed to produce. Email number 1 would be the warm welcome. This goes out immediately when a patient books, not a generic scheduling confirmation, but a genuine warm welcome from the practice. It confirms the appointment, introduces who they will be seeing, and sets positive expectations for the visit. The subject line that I might recommend is, "We're looking forward to meeting you, Jim Jones." The job of this email is simple. Make the patient feel expected and welcomed before they ever walk through the door. Email number 2, the preparation email. This goes out 48 hours before the visit. What to bring, what to expect, where to park, how long the visit will take. This email has 2 jobs. It removes every logistical reason to cancel or no-show, and it signals to the patient of your practice that it's organized, professional, and thoughtful. The subject line, "Your visit is in 2 days. Here is everything that you will need." Practices that send this email consistently see measurable reductions in no-show rates. Not because patients forgot, but because uncertainty was eliminated before it could become an excuse. And email number 3, the post-visit follow-up. This is the most underused email in all of healthcare, and arguably the most powerful. It goes out 24 hours after the visit. It thanks the patient for coming in, acknowledges what was discussed, reinforces the care plan, and gently seeds the next appointment. Subject line might be, "How are you feeling?" A note from our team. This is the email that turns the first visit into a second. It's the one that makes the patient feel like a person, not a chart number. And it takes 3 minutes to write once, and then it turns automatically to every patient forever. 3 emails, fully automated. Set it once, and it runs for every patient, every time. I want to be direct with you about something. You likely already know that following up with new patients really matters. Most practice owners know that. The reason it doesn't happen isn't because you don't care, but it's because nobody ever built a system to make it automatic. Your front desk is already managing a full schedule, and nobody has time to personally follow up with every new patient within 24 hours. It's not so much a staffing problem as much as it is a systems problem. And a 3-email automated sequence is the first solution that requires the least effort and produces the most consistent result of almost anything you can build for your practice. Maybe one afternoon to set it up. Returns compounding value for every new patient that you will see from that day forward. If you're paying to acquire new patients and not following up to keep them, you're not running a practice. You're running a leaky bucket. Now, if you would like some help writing and automating this 3-email sequence for your practice, including the language and maybe how to set it all up from your web address so that it runs completely on its own, that's something that I can help you with. Take 20 to 30 minutes of your time and let's talk about the things we can do to help automate your practice so that you can retain more of the folks that you worked hard to be able to see in the first place. So my name is Kurt Landreth. Contact me by phone, email, make an appointment through my scheduler. I look forward to talking with you soon.